Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. The kids are still sleeping, so I figured I'd run down to the river and do a quick video for you. Today's topic has to do with topwaters. I've gotten a lot of questions lately about what topwaters am I throwing during the summer months. And it's not an easy question for me. I do not have just like one topwater bait that I rely on year round. It is very much a spot specific and time of year specific deal for me. I truly love topwaters. It's one of my favorite ways to fish. I think you can generate some really large bites. It's a way that you can trick those large fish into biting, because you've got a bait on the surface where they're really attacking a silhouette more than getting a good look at the bait. And that's why a topwater generates big bites. The fish don't necessarily get a good look at it, and they don't know what it is, but they know, that most things that fall into the water swim across the surface, and therefore I think it's an easy meal. I've had days out here fishing on the Wisconsin River where actually this is a seasonal thing. In June, a big topwater bait can be absolutely dynamite, because the chipmunks of all species will go into their mating habit, and they will start swimming from island to island. And I cannot tell you how many times I've caught a bass out here, and they're usually pretty nice quality fish, that have chipmunk legs and tails sticking out of their belly, in their mouth. It's really, the first time I saw it, I was like, I don't understand this. But I can tell you, I have since seen lots of chipmunks swimming from one island to another, and I've caught multiple bass. I've caught multiple bass in a single day that had chipmunks in their mouth. So it's one of those things, guys, you just, kind of want to be aware of what's going on that time of year. And I'm assuming that that's why it's always in June. That's what, the chipmunks are going from one island to another, probably having to do with the mating process. But anyway, so my point is, big fish will hit topwaters, and there's not always a specific topwater that works best at all times. But because we are in the summer months, I'm going to address my favorite summer topwater baits. And these work pretty much throughout the entire country. So the first, and one of my absolute favorites, is a prop bait. So most prop baits that I use in the summer are not the longer, skinnier prop baits that you might throw during the spawning period. They're bluegill shaped baits because of the fact that you have bluegill that are spawning during the summer months, and bass will be feeding on bluegills. You can see in this case, I've got the hooks cut off or turned in because it's a bait that I was using to pre-fish with, and I didn't want to hook any fish. But this is just an absolute killer bait. This is made by Gandhi Baits. It's a little custom job. You'll find that most of the bluegill shaped prop baits, the best ones, are custom jobs. There's a lot of good companies that are making them, but they are relatively expensive, but they work fantastic for mimicking bluegill on the bed. So I would highly recommend having some sort of bluegill shaped prop bait for the summer months. This is another one. This is the Berkeley Can Walker. This bait is phenomenal for making long casts, has great walking motion, but it really excels when you're fishing those, deep open water schooling areas, or where you've got cane piles and the fish are suspended around the cane piles and you want to draw them up to the surface. The key with a big walking bait like this, it's almost that pencil popper style. The key is you make long casts with it because it's a heavy bait. It throws phenomenally well. It walks well. It makes a lot of commotion. It moves great at a fast speed retrieve. And it's all, it's that game of when you see fish come up busting, you can get to them, you can work it through that school fast, and you get some really big bites when you're doing that. So I highly recommend having some sort of big walking style bait like this Cane Walker. I feel like you gotta have it at all times rigged up. The next one is just the standard. This is a Rebel popper. Popper is one of my favorite poppers. You got to have a popper for target fishing. Like, that's just, in my opinion, that's a must. Whether you're fishing around laydowns or under overhanging bushes or holes in the grass, you got to have a popper. You need a topwater that you can throw into a very specific spot, pop it, let it sit, pop it, let it sit. You know, I couldn't throw this, say, into a hole in the grass, because I'd get 4 walks out of it before I was out of that hole. I could throw this into the same hole that's, you know, that big, and just let it sit there for 20 minutes if I wanted to. You know, you can basically work a popper in place just by small pops, and, you know, you can still get them to walk side to side, but you can keep them in a spot and make them a good target for a fish that's sitting on an ambush point. The next bait, this is a Berkeley Chapel. This is my favorite plopper style bait. You know, again, you can see I've got the hooks cut off on this one. This is one that I've kind of retired from full fishing or tournament fishing and use now as a practice bait. You can see it's been beat up pretty well. It's a dynamite killer bait for covering water, and just kind of it's kind of the cross between, say, a walking bait and a you know, a small prop bait like this, because it creates that same commotion, but you can move it and cover a ton of water. You can fish it around isolated areas, because you can throw it into a hole or along a laydown, work it, stop it, work it, stop it, you know, or give it short twitches. So you know, it's kind of a hybrid with these other baits, because you can work it fast and slow. The key with this, though, is you need the water column to be clean. So if it's got grass and floating debris, it doesn't work that well. And when that's the case, that's when I pick up a buzz bait. You know, this is my favorite, the Dirty Jigs Canterbury Buzz. I like the smaller sizes. I like the 1/4 ounce. If you go with the bigger sizes, you get a bigger blades on it, and I personally prefer the smaller blades. But really, between these two baits, for me, it comes down to whether I'm fishing water that's clean or whether I'm fishing water that's got a little debris. You know, if it's got some pads and some grass that's reaching the surface, this is gonna get stuck. You know, you're not gonna be able to work it clean through it, versus a buzz bait, which will come through that stuff much cleaner. So that, to me, that's almost like the same bait. It just depends on what I'm fishing. The last bait, and this might surprise some of you guys, is an old school Chug Bug. This is the pre-Rapala purchase of Storm, so it's the old rattling Chug Bug. I don't use the newer ones. The ones that Rapala is coming out with now, they don't have the same sound to me. There's a different plastic that was used, and I just don't have the same luck. I have tried the new ones a lot, and I don't have the same luck that I have with the old ones. Luckily for me, I've got, you know, a supply of these that'll last me a lifetime. So, you know, I'm not worried about using them and losing them. But if you're looking for them, you can still get them on the secondary market for really pretty cheap, like basically the same price as a new one. But this bait, the reason I love a Chug Bug, one, like I said, the sound is great. It seems to generate a lot of strikes, but it's a really good cross, again, between, say, a popper and more of a walking bait. You know, it's a bait, you can straight retrieve it, you know, walk the dog straight back to the boat, but I really just like to use it with a very irregular retrieve, where I'll throw it out, twitch it a couple of times, then I might walk it 5 feet, then I'll let it sit, let the rings disappear, twitch it twice, you know, like you would with a popper. But in this case, you kind of have the best of both worlds. It's a really good target bait. It casts well, and it just generates a lot of bites. You know, this is a fan favorite of a lot of people, and it's for a specific reason. It's a really good bait and generates a lot of bites. So guys, those are the topwaters that I'm throwing during the summer months right now. I mean, a lot of these baits I just cut off my rods. Get yourself some of these, but again, like I said, once the fall hits, we'll probably do another video that'll detail the baits I'm throwing in the fall. But right now in the summer, put a topwater bait on, put 5 topwater baits on, because they will generate a lot of strikes and they will get bit all day long, guys. Don't think it's just a morning and afternoon thing, all day. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and stay tuned for more videos that come out every day.